Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 13, Best Drum Fills Ever. And just as an added surprise, I'm going to attempt to beatbox these fills at the end of the video, so stick around for that. All right, disclaimer. I didn't listen to every drum fill ever. I just kind of picked out ones that I thought were cool. They just kind of stuck in my mind, and I thought it might be cool to talk about some of my favorites. Now, we're going to go back to the 80s, 1981, for number 3. And we're going to start with Phil Collins, In the Air Tonight. Now, Phil had been playing for years and singing with Genesis, but when he went solo, this was the first single from his 1981 album, Face Value. And what's interesting is this drum fill that came in at the end was this huge big deal. It's super famous. I'm sure you know it, but if you don't, link to the video below. Pause right now and go check it out, all right? Fantastic, right? But notice in this video, it's really different than the original version that came out on the album. In the original version, it's just the little drum machine that goes throughout the whole song until after 3 minutes you finally hear that fill and the live drums come in. That Phil Collins, no pun intended, I don't think. I don't know. When you hear those drums come in after just that drum machine, there's no real beat. It's just this great buildup of this quiet, intense song that just doesn't really seem to build too much until it hits this drum fill, and then the whole thing just explodes, and it's just fantastic. Now, my favorite part is actually the drum fill that happens after the big fill. Maybe about 45 seconds more. I'm going to put the link and you can listen to exactly this spot and hear this fill that I'm talking about. So go check that out right now. I'll wait. The reason why I love this fill is because you have this kind of unstable, what's going on in this song kind of thing happening up until the point of the big drum fill. And then it just, bam, you get this nice solid beat going on. But he repeats that fill at least 3 times going towards the outro of the song. And what I find so cool about it is that it starts on the end of the measure, then continues through the downbeat of the measure onto the end of beat 2. Most drum fills usually end right on the beat. This one kind of keeps going and gives you this kind of extra momentum, this sort of offset thing where you start to question kind of, oh, what is going on here? There's something, I thought the beat was all set, and then it kind of goes off a little bit. Not so much in syncopation, but just in where your expectations of where the drum fill is going to end happen. So for that reason alone, I find this drum fill super cool. But that's not all. This song has so much cool stuff associated with it. This gated reverb sound that this song is famous for was something that Phil Collins had come across in working in the studio with ex-bandmate from Genesis, Peter Gabriel. It was Gabriel's 3rd album, a song called Intruder, which wasn't a big hit for him, but it's a really cool, super moody song, kind of really creepy song too. But Phil was invited to come and play drums on that. And almost by accident, because of this thing with the talkback microphone, they got this really cool sound that they ended up using for that song. So Phil ended up using the same producer as Peter Gabriel and tying over that sound to his drums coming in for that fill and towards the end of the song. All right, so if you're listening to the video version, the single version of this song, and you hear the drums coming in right away at the beginning, not just the drum machine, you might be wondering, what am I talking about? Well, there is a story behind that Phil Collins mentioned in an interview a few years later. And what happened was the head of Atlantic Records heard the single and said, oh, this is great, but where's the downbeat? Where's the backbeat? He just couldn't really find it in that beat that was going on, which, as I mentioned, is one thing that I find so cool about the song. And Phil said, it's coming up. And he said, well, the kids listening to it, they don't know that. And so he made Phil, and the version you hear in the video, add an extra drum track that starts right near the beginning. I don't think it works half as well as the original, where the drums are just the drum machine and then the full drum kit doesn't come in until the big fill. So check it out, find that version on your favorite streaming service, because it's definitely worth listening to. One last story about this song. Early in the band, in a tour of Southern California, we went out to eat sushi at a place called Rock and Roll Sushi. They're playing rock music, and on the hour, they start playing In the Air Tonight. And it gets up to the big fill, and you start to see this anticipation in people and the staff, the cooks, everybody in the restaurant. And when that fill came up, they dropped what they were doing, except for their chopsticks and their cooking utensils, and just bang, 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 bang away at the tables, bang away at the pots and pans. And it was just the coolest thing ever. And of course, we stayed around. It was an all you can eat. The next hour that came up, we were totally ready. We had our chopsticks at the go, bam, bam, bam. It was just super, super cool. What a great, great moment.